Stalin died in March 1953.
I've been working too hard to give you a heart attack.
Ending many years of rule and coming at the same time as a similar change in the U.S., the indoctrination of the new U.S. President, Dwight D. Eisenhower. It's ultimately interesting what the USSR decided to do, creating a system of collective leadership to prevent domination by any one individual in the government. This government consisted of
George Malenkov, Chairman of the Council of Ministries and Prime Minister.
Vyacheslav Molotov, the Foreign Minister. Nikolai Bulganin, the Minister of Defense.
Lavrentiy Beria, Minister of Internal Affairs. And also, the person in this government that actually matters, Nikita Khrushchev, the first secretary of the Communist Party.
That's me!
The new Soviet leadership attempted to thaw Cold War tensions through an arms race to end fighting in Korea. This was made possible through the new administration and leadership of both nations. Despite an increased nuclear arms base, the USSR and US tried to thaw tensions, in large part on the Soviet end because the economy was smaller and weaker, and Soviet leaders wanted to divert money to improving living standards. While this was all great and fine, in spite of the fact that Malenkov had an idea of a new course with the West of reduced tensions, Khrushchev brought about Malenkov's dismissal as Soviet premier, forcing him to resign for abuse of power and his close connection.
I have forced this traitorous and treasonous dog out of the government!
Woo! Yeah! Well, I'm more of a crap person anyway. 11 more years of being a single-party state. Woo! Hey, do you know there's no X in Hebrew?
Indeed. And this led to Khrushchev taking a larger role in government, and once again, the USSR having a single leader.
Congratulations, West Germany. You are now officially part of NATO.
Khrushchev! West Germany's gonna be joining NATO!
What? Now let this happen!
You see this NATO thing the US has got going on? We gotta get rid of it. To be or not to be? That is the question. But the real answer is we need to be or we're gonna get blown away. East Germany, you can't let these Americans walk all over you. Don't you want your country back to where it was prosperous?
Yeah, we want our country back!
Yeah! Nikita Khrushchev tried to use the traditional Soviet policy of peaceful coexistence to achieve détente between the East and West and help prevent a devastating nuclear world war.
Comrades, with this new form of peaceful coexistence, we can prevent a devastating nuclear war. We can peacefully exist, and then socialism will prove superior to capitalism. And then eventually a peaceful transition to socialism will be made worldwide. What do we call the Dignity for All States Act?
Yeah, you know, DASA. We can be aware of the states and stop discrimination between states on race, weight, and ethnic group, and sex. We can make other states responsible for reporting harassment of other states.
We can have other states sign waivers so that we have something back up.
Ooh, we can hold an assembly for all states.
What? No, we're doing my thing.
Yeah, let's send it to the US, maybe New York or something. Khrushchev talked to the United States, offering to pull Soviet troops out of Austria in exchange for the country's neutrality and offering to return the Pokala naval base to Finland.
We should take the Soviet troops and push them somewhere else!
The US accepted this offer and ultimately the idea of Australian neutrality, which was favored by the leaders of the western zones of Austria, which had been divided into 4 parts similar to Germany at the end of World War II.
After Eisenhower was elected president, he appointed John Foster Dulles as Secretary of State. They believed that containment was immoral, for it abandons those living in the Soviet bloc.
Whoa, a Soviet bloc!
For the new look, the U.S. adopted a much more confrontational and aggressive stance towards the USSR and China, up to and including nuclear weapons. The U.S.'s nuclear superiority would force concessions by the USSR. The 2 main aspects of Eisenhower's new look included massive retaliation and brinksmanship.
Brinksmanship was also another important aspect of Eisenhower's new look. It occurs when 2 countries are brought to the brink of war and things are escalated so much that it eventually causes peace and war never occurs. Peace occurs because no one wants to blow up half the earth and hence mad the mutually assured destruction.
Are you mad? In a state of mutually assured destruction? Well, look no further. With the U.S.'s new development program of nukes to give literally more bang for your buck, remember the containment is immoral since we let nations fall to communism. Well, instead of doing that, we can completely obliterate them with new H-bombs, stopping the spread of communism worldwide and hurting innocent people. Buy into Eisenhower's new look now and get a free hydrogen bomb. In fact, call in the next 30 minutes. We'll even throw in a lifetime supply of sugar cubas and a free magic card. 3 easy payments of old U.S. foreign policy, and $38,943.60. 3 easy payments, quite a deal. Jack will make the offer even better by throwing in a doomsday clock. Doomsday clock. Only 1 hour left until complete and utter destruction.
Hey, Eisenhower, you know that agreement we had where your planes wouldn't fly over our airspace? Well, I just shot one of them down. I thought we had an agreement.
Khrushchev made an important secret speech at the 20th Party Congress of the CPSU, where he also announced his foreign policy to improve relations with Yugoslavia and Eastern European satellites.
There can be national roads to socialism that don't follow the Soviet model. Yet, do what you want. We don't care. Absolutely anything is fine. There won't be any consequences whatsoever, like an invasion to your country, or a massive human rights violation if you don't follow the Soviet model.
Hungarian asterisk. As evidence of Khrushchev's complete acceptance of national roads to socialism except for that one country, since 1955 Khrushchev had tried to secure Yugoslavia as an ally of the Soviet Union, dissolving Cominform, which Stalin expelled Yugoslavia from, also encouraging its membership in the Warsaw Pact.
No.
Tito instead opted to restore diplomatic relations. Khrushchev's secret speech was soon made, not so secret when it was circulated in Eastern European countries, who hoped that Soviet control of their countries would be reduced by Khrushchev.
In Soviet Russia,
I'm a strong Roman Catholic! A strong Roman Catholic! Christmas, Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter Palm Sunday!
This is the Berlin Wall, I think. In June 1956, at Poznan, Poland, there were many protests by Polish factory workers over the increased production quotas. As a response, the Polish Communists, the Polish Uniters Workers' Party, planned a new program of reform and liberalization. This was to be headed by Władysław Gomułka, a communist reformer. Gomułka had been the leader of the Polish Communists previously, but was imprisoned in the late 1940s during the European purges. He was released at the time of Stalin's death.
What's all the commotion?
I think that some of the Polish people want some reforms or something.
How can you tell?
Well, for one thing, they're protesting Poznan by the factory workers. I think some of them are even threatening independence.
I don't like the sound of that.
What are you going to do?
I could always send in the military, and that usually solves my problems, but I have a better idea. Why don't we try using peaceful coexistence?
Excellent choice. Shall I arrange a meeting with the leader of the PUA?
The Soviet Union feared the consequences of a Poland independent of Soviet control, so it was crucial to discuss matters with the representative or leader of the movement. Gomułka has accepted the offer of discussing important matters regarding the future of Poland with Khrushchev. It is now late October 1956 in Warsaw.
Hello, Gomułka. Now it seems to be the problem.
We want more reforms.
Now, what would that entail?
We want more independence, but don't worry. We still want to be communist and be part of the Soviet bloc.
Soviet bloc!
Also, we won't leave the Warsaw Pact.
Well, maybe we will let you guys get away with this one. But don't tell anyone else you got that idea, that they will somehow get the same treatment. As long as you remain under our influence, it's okay. I just have to think a little more deeply about this before I make my final decision.
Ooh, thank you so much, Khrushchev.
No problem, Gomułka. Now just make sure that Poland behaves and plays nicely with other countries.
I will.
On October 21st, 1956, Khrushchev decided to trust Gomułka and decided that no military intervention was needed to ensure Soviet security in Poland. This granting of more independence to Poland would encourage other reform-minded communist leaders in other Eastern European states to attempt to achieve similar reforms, most noticeably Imre Nagy of Hungary. Okay, I think I have an idea for a successful revolt. Good thing I took those notes on the Polish revolt. Now, what were you supposed to do again about the Warsaw Pact? Can't put my finger on it. Oh well, 50-50 shot. I think I'll have Hungary leave the Warsaw Pact. That sounds good. We do want independence after all, don't we? Shortly after the successful Polish revolt, the Hungarians were starting to have similar thoughts and were encouraged to try to achieve independence as well. They just needed to find the right moment. Aha! It is October 23rd, 1956. There's a large illegal demonstration in Budapest. By the looks of it, it is very out of control. This led to an armed revolt breaking out, and as a result, the Soviet Union had to intervene militarily. I will represent the Hungarian people. We saw all the independence that you allowed Poland, and we want to follow a similar path.
Why don't you talk to Khrushchev about this?
Where's all this commotion?
We want the same treatment that you gave Poland regarding more independence.
Sure. It worked nicely for Poland, so I guess we can try the same thing for you.
Woo! We won't let you down.
I guess this peaceful coexistence thing isn't such a bad idea after all. Independence!
Yeah, we want independence. Independence.
Whoa! Dudes! You guys need to chill out. What's all the commotion?
The Soviets initially attempted a peaceful solution with Hungary. Nagy was allowed to form a new government, but he upset the Soviet Union with his new radical political changes. He allowed opposition parties in government, which didn't please Khrushchev because he wanted Hungary to be a one-party communist state. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union was beginning to have fears of a type of domino effect in Eastern Europe. If Hungary was allowed to leave, other states might follow suit. This would break up the European buffer zone, which Soviet security depended on. These fears were increased by the U.S., for they issued statements and propaganda in an attempt to exploit the opportunities offered by de-Stalinization. They also supported the idea of a neutral Hungary. On November 1st, 1956, Nagy announced Hungary's withdrawal from the Warsaw Pact. This was the straw that broke the camel's back.
I can't believe what Hungary did. I thought they were going to be like Poland and stay under our influence.
How does that make you feel?
What?
I mean, what are you going to do?
Something I should have done a long time ago.
On November 4th, 1956, the USSR followed through with military intervention in Poland. Khrushchev had installed a new pro-Soviet government, which would now be headed by Janos Kadar.
Take that, Hungary! Who's your daddy?
What? Why?
I don't know. For starters, how about the fact that you allowed opposition parties in your government and left the Warsaw Pact? What the hell's wrong with you?
Well...
No reforms for you.
Can Poland be independent but still be communist and under the influence of the USSR?
Yes, would that be all?
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Can Hungary also be independent?
No!
You get it?
We can peacefully exist and then socially. And then socialism will prove superior.
Armistice to end fighting in Cuba. This was made possible through the new
Korea!
administration and leadership
Korea!
of both nations.
Friggin'
In spite
Korea,
of an
Justin!
increase
Do it again.
No.
PJ, put your phone away. PJ, put your phone away. PJ!
Hello, Gomulka.